What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Sunday Reset here on Forward Progress, presented by Fanduel. We are part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm Rob Pizzola. Good to see everyone in the chat to get this show started tonight. And you guys know the drill by now. We're late into the season. We're going to zoom out on Week 15. We'll separate signal from noise. We'll call out surprises, what we nailed, what we missed, all the key coaching calls, all the injuries that shaped this week in the NFL. Then we flip it forwards. We'll run through the Week 16 openers with our thoughts on each game. We'll talk through where we expect the market to go. If you're watching live, hit that like button so more people find this in real time. If you're listening after the fact and you get value out of this show, make sure you're subbed here on Forward Progress, or you rate and review 5 stars if you're listening in podcast form. We're trying to hit 10K subs here on YouTube. So if you're not subbed yet and you'd consider subscribing, that would be very much appreciated. All right, let's get into it. Joining me as always here on Sunday nights, Clive Bixby. Clive, how are things?
Good. What's going on?
Well, I wish I could be in a better mood because Sunday Night Football has just finished. The Cowboys are going to fall in all likelihood. I mean, there's still 40 seconds left in the game to the Vikings, but it feels like a rough ending to the season. It's like such an uphill climb for Dallas now. Ultimately, Clive, we thought that maybe the defense was getting it together at some point a couple weeks ago, and the defense, they ain't got it together for the Cowboys, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing, right? Like at one point, you kind of gave up hope on the team, and that, all right, the season was a lost season, fine, whatever. And things started to turn a little bit where it's like, I got a little bit of hope. Maybe with this offense, Pickens playing well, blah, 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 et cetera. And no,
I know. What are you going to do? Some unusual stuff happened in this game tonight. Brandon Aubrey missed a couple field goals, which in like a day of unusual things happening, that might actually be the craziest. Like I don't know. Like you just never see this guy miss before. JJ McCarthy's looking a lot better. It's hard to say whether that's real or not because it's been Commanders and Cowboys.
It's like a completely different guy from like the first 3 or 4 starts he had this year. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's been great, but I mean, it is night and day.
If anyone didn't watch this game, Cowboys and Vikings, and you watch it back, he made some like insane throws into tight windows in this game. And probably could have done even more damage. Justin Jefferson dropped a touchdown, although they ended up scoring on that drive anyways. But it seemed like they just offensively had it going throughout. And Brian Flores mixed up his coverages good, mixed up his blitz packages. Kind of Dallas just seemed very unsettled in the passing game for the majority of the game. So listen, it's too bad. 2 teams that are not going to the postseason this year in all likelihood. So I don't want to spend too much time there, but we're fresh off Sunday Night Football. And usually, it's fresh in our mind. We talk about it right away. I think we got to start today, Clive, with Phillip Rivers and the Colts Seahawks game, because I felt like I was like in an alternate reality watching Phillip Rivers run out onto the field before the game. Like I've prepped myself for this all week. We knew it was coming, but it still felt very surreal. And the game kind of played out. I don't want to say played out exactly like I would have expected because I bet Seattle. I came nowhere close to covering. But from the Colts side of things, Indy leaned on Jonathan Taylor. They leaned on a quick passing game. They had almost no vertical threat. They basically hung around all night or afternoon because Rivers took the easy stuff. They couldn't finish drives. But the Seahawks on the other side, I don't know what that was offensively from them today. They were just, I don't know if like they're saving the good plays for Thursday night against the Rams or something like that. But that was an incredible slog from the Seahawks.
And Marcus Erickson, Rivers was not throwing missiles. It was like a junk baller that came out of retirement and just throwing whatever he could, shot putting, just trying to get the ball anywhere near a receiver. Like, I don't think back shoulder throws were anything more than I need to intentionally underthrow the ball. But where I was really disappointed was with Seattle's offense. One of the plays I gave out earlier in the week was a Seattle team total over. And I mean, they ended up with 6 field goals, but it felt like the entire play calling Just wasn't very aggressive at all for against a Colts defense that was missing a lot of guys in the secondary. Like, I
Yeah,
don't get it.
that was a little bit surprising as well. I mean, listen, what I've learned about the Seahawks from today, and maybe it's taken 15 weeks to learn it, is they're very, I'll call them a stubborn team where they're kind of rooted in like running the ball, for example. And the running game cratered today. It
wasn't there.
Yeah, it just wasn't there. They couldn't get any like separation in the running game. They moved it reasonably well on early downs, but 2 of 13 on third down is just not going to get it done. Like every high leverage passing situation turned into a check down, a sack, a throwaway. And on the other side of things, Seattle sits in too high a lot. And they just basically ran the same defense they've run the entire season, which is send 4, don't blitz a lot. They very, very rarely blitzed Rivers today. And Rivers just took what he could underneath. And listen, it wasn't a great offensive output. Seattle wins the game. Maybe it was a decent strategy for a win, but it was very much in doubt for a lot of this game. And, relative to expectation, I'll say Rivers played better than I thought he would. He has a brain. Yes. You could see him go to the line of scrimmage. He was audibling at the line of scrimmage. He's pointing out to his offensive line, like what the defense is running. He's smart, but he just doesn't have the downfield arm. And I wonder going forwards, if he ends up starting next week at San Francisco, if the 49ers make some adjustments and try to take away that short stuff, because that's really all the Colts had.
Yeah, I think they would. It kind of reminds me of just interviews you hear with athletes as they get towards the end of where like their mind is in so much of a better place and they see the game better, and it like Rivers still gets that part, but just the physical won't cooperate anymore. It's really interesting to watch. Like in a way it was like a train wreck that I couldn't turn away from, but it was also nostalgic, and it was a good game to watch. And the 4:00 slate was much better than I thought than the early slate.
It definitely was, but it was just a great day of football overall. You had 8 games in the early window, 5 in the late window. A lot of those games in the late window were fantastic. Broncos-Packers, I thought, was a really good game. That one turned on a dime. Like early on, Micah Parsons was kind of wrecking things up front. Green Bay was moving the ball, but they kept stalling in like these short yardage situations early in the game, settling for field goals. And Denver was answering with explosives. And I thought the game flipped when Patrick Surtain made that interception on the shot to Christian Watson downfield. Watson ended up getting hurt on the play. He had to leave, and he actually was taken away from the stadium in an ambulance. From that point on, Bo Nix took over, man. He didn't take a sack all day. He spread it around. Sutton, Franklin, little Jordan Humphrey, Sean Payton stayed aggressive on 4th downs.
Didn't get sacked all day.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of flipped in that moment. And listen, Nix had some turnover-worthy plays. McKinney, the safety for Green Bay, probably could have made 2 or 3 picks in this game that he dropped. But ultimately, you gotta give the guy credit, because that was kind of a coin flip, and Denver just pulled away as that game went on.
Yeah, another game I was wrong about this week. This was a break-even week for me. That was one of the games that I did get wrong, and Green Bay didn't capitalize on any of those turnover-worthy plays. Nix didn't get sacked at all, and one of the things I can't seem to get a handle on is Green Bay's defense. And now they're really in fuckville. But
yeah.
I'm back and forth on that team a lot.
It's a tough team to figure out. They're very inconsistent. Obviously, you're mentioning the Micah Parsons injury. Reportedly an ACL, not confirmed just yet, but that's going to be a massive loss for them in the defensive front seven. I don't think that loss can be understated. Just a weird game. Like Jordan Love, he has these moments and then he throws like an interception off his back foot or just like throws into coverage on his back foot. I thought like they probably should have abandoned the run earlier in this game. I think people will look at the yards per carry for Josh Jacobs and be like, oh, it's not bad. He's like 6 yards per carry. There's like a 40-yard run. Outside of that, the rushing efficiency was very poor.
On both teams.
He was better out of the backfield. And actually, that's a great point. Like for Denver too, the rushing game wasn't there. Like they won the game through the air with Bo Nix's arm.
Yeah. And I mean, the way that I thought the game was going to go was going to be that the rushing game was not going to be there and then Knicks would falter. I was wrong.
Yep, totally. Let's keep working through this late window because there was a lot of great finishes. One of them was in New Orleans, Saints and Panthers. I'm very happy to be on the right end of this one from a betting perspective. Obviously, Carolina's like my second team because of our friend Eric Eager, who's in the front office for them now, that used to be on this YouTube channel with us.
Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina jumped out to like an early lead. Bryce Young was using his legs. There were some explosives that he generated to Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette. For 3 quarters, it felt like the Panthers mostly had the game under control from my perspective, but they never separated. And this is kind of the problem with the team. They had a combination of some stalled red zone trips. They had a 4th and 1 handoff where, I don't know who was doing color commentary for that game, but he's like, I don't know why they would hand the ball off in the backfield here. Like you need an inch right now. And they handed it to Chuba Hubbard and he got stuffed. And all these penalties that they kept committing, like New Orleans just kept hanging around. Then that 4th quarter, Tyler Shuck and the Saints offense, they're throwing the ball. He's starting to scramble. Olave, Vele, they're taking over. They're ripping off chunk gains. And they tie it late. And then they get the key unnecessary roughness call on Shuck's scramble late in the game. And they walk it off with a field goal, which credit to Shuck. Listen, by definition, it is a penalty. But he sold that, man. You give that man a WWE contract. I mean, Cena's out now. They might as well bring Shuck in, I think, at this point.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, one, it's just dumb. I mean, he has to go down. So why are you going to hit him in any aggressive way whatsoever? That's just like a lack of awareness. But I had Saints money line this week after a release went out early.
Yep.
And I mean, part of what I was thinking was, unfortunately, the Panthers do have a little bit of a tendency to kind of bite themselves. And like you said, not pull away. A lot of good, like 3rd down and keeping series going, but just they couldn't finish the game.
Yeah, it's weird. I thought Bryce Young actually played okay in this game.
Yeah.
He left a little bit on the table for sure. He got
Some
bailed
good scrambles to extend drives.
Like that deep pass downfield to Legette, which we were debating in our group chat whether Teteroa McMillan actually fell down on purpose on that play to distract the defense. But like that could have been a better ball. They just don't have it really in them to separate that much. And I look back at the box score, it looks very even. Where it basically played out as a coin flip. And we bet money line in this game on the Saints where closed okay, but you give me that type of box score that plays as a coin flip and you're getting like plus 130, I'm going to take that every time. So it's interesting. Just that was an interesting matchup. Also in the late window, Rams beat the Lions 41-34. That, from looking at the box score, it feels like the final score flatters Detroit. The Rams started really sloppy. I bet some Rams this week. I had a good day. You're going to hear me say I'm on the right side of a lot of things, but if you watch Pizza Buffet this morning or the content this week, the people will know, very real with the audience. The Rams started really poorly. Stafford threw a pick like directly to Aiden Hutchinson, which I don't know how he didn't score a touchdown. I don't know who raced back to tackle him, but Hutchinson got caught. Like he was 15, 20 yards ahead of everyone, and he got caught. A couple other bad misses from Stafford. But then they settled in and they just turned it into an offensive clinic. And this is like the theme for them every week. 60% success rate, 7 yards per play. They can move it on the ground, through the air. Puka got hurt at one point. Devontae Adams got hurt at one point. It didn't even matter. It just became so predictable that the Rams were going to score. And the Lions matched every now and then with some explosives, but on a down-to-down basis, the Lions just didn't have it today.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams 60% success rate today, 83% series conversion rate. And every once in a while, you have regrets on bets that you didn't make, and the over in this game, or even just a Rams team total over, was another one. But this Rams offense is really good, and it sucks that I don't know how long Adams is going to be out with that hamstring injury, but I mean, those are tough, and he was kind of nursing that to begin with.
Yeah, he was going in with a pre-existing injury there. I'm going to guess they're going to shut him down for the regular season. I don't know. I'll be floored if he plays at Seattle on Thursday night. But that'll be an interesting one. Here's something very interesting from the box score, which kind of shows the dominance that the Rams have on offense. They ran 72 plays, and they only faced 9 third downs today, which is wild. You almost never see that in the NFL. That's just how efficient they were. And to your point, success rate for Detroit, 36%. Rams 60. Rams success rate teams to death. That's what they've been doing.
Run, pass it. It didn't matter.
Yep.
Whatever they wanted.
Yep. Early window game of the day, arguably, would have been Bills and Patriots. And this was one I got wrong. And this is definitely a tale of two halves in Foxborough. New England comes out of the bye. They got a great script. They're leaning into the run game. They're mixing in some option with Drake May. Before you know it, it's 24-7. Travion Henderson looks explosive. And then out of halftime, boom, everything flips. Ray Davis sets the tone. Big kickoff return. From there, Josh Allen completely takes over. The Bills just putting together methodical scoring drives. Allen is great on late downs. Buffalo's offense is finishing every time in the red zone. And at the same time, the Pats passing game just like completely stalled in the second half here. Just
how much of that do you think was play calling versus performance?
It's tough to say. Again, with the Patriots, the entire talk going into this week is they haven't played anyone. Let's see how they measure up. I would say that even though they lost and they like blew a big lead, they at least showed they can play with Buffalo. I mean,
yeah,
the ball score looks very, very even. I mean, it's the high leverage down swung this game. Buffalo was 0.79 EPA on third and fourth down, 59% success rate on third and fourth down, when New England was negative in those spots.
Like, it's so interesting when Josh Allen has to play from behind and they have to play aggressive and they have to call those kind of plays. He still performs. I expected both teams to be able to run the ball pretty well this week, which is why I stayed away from the over, just because I didn't know in terms of like game flow, how that would go. But I mean, Josh Allen's an animal. That's not news, but this was overall kind of what you would expect between the two of them, and kind of hope we see a third game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was checking some markets for obviously Drake May and Mike Vrabel are heavily involved in the MVP market and the Coach of the Year market. The MVP market's moved significantly. Stafford is an overwhelming favorite now, and that makes sense. Coach of the Year, Vrabel's still an overwhelming favorite there too. I got to tell you, I'm starting to think like there's some guys down the list. Ben Johnson. I even think like Liam Cohen is sneaky live as well.
It's fair.
It's the Kyle Shanahan.
I think I had the most expectations for Jacksonville, which is why I have a hard time going there for Coach of the Year. But I mean, since Jacoby Myers has joined that offense, it's completely different.
100%. And listen, you credit where it's due. Trevor Lawrence is playing well, but he's also throwing to like a lot of open receivers right now. And Liam Cohen was an offensive guy in Tampa Bay. I don't know. I'd be interested to see that market tomorrow and what that looks like. I can't even believe we're getting to this as like the 6th game here with the Chargers and Chiefs. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes' torn ACL is going to dominate the conversation here. The Chiefs are not going back to the playoffs. I felt very redeemed again for the millionth time in a row. I actually don't know how many times in a row it's been now where I consistently bet against the Chiefs. I don't
just goes against us.
Yeah, at least I got good numbers this week. I'm like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to get a 6. It's going to be there. And, I had all my buddies messaging me, Chargers publicly backed dog, I'm like, well, weren't the Texans like a publicly backed dog on Sunday Night Football? Like, these happen. I really don't get the love for the Chiefs, but this was like a very old school AFC West fight at Arrowhead. Both offensive lines completely banged up. You could see it right off the hop. Protection an issue for both teams all day. The run games never got going. It felt like every yard was earned. And I'll say Justin Herbert made the difference today. He took 5 sacks, but he strung together a bunch of like high quality, difficult throws. Late in the first half there, he had 2 ridiculous throws, one that ended up in a touchdown. It really flipped the game. And Kansas City, they just keep leaning into these early down runs with Pacheco. It keeps ending up in 3rd and long. Mahomes is under constant heat. It just never felt, even when the Chargers went down in this game, I really felt like they had a really good opportunity to win. And here we are. I mean, Chiefs are done for the year, but that was a redeeming one for me today, Clive.
I struggle, and I know we talk about the market all the time, and it's very difficult for me to not respect that. And the Chargers, there were 2 teams that I considered in our circa. Chargers was one of them, and that was only 5.5, and then the Rams as well. And I ended up choosing the Browns, which we'll get to. Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's a love affair with the Chiefs in the market, and it's hard to go against it. But sometimes when you see enough offensive line injury and the way that these games get called, sometimes you got to trust it. And I didn't trust it this week.
See, I also have like a few Chiefs fans that I really respect their opinion, that I know, and I probably could have dug in even more going against them here, and they're just like, Rob, like this Chiefs team is actually good. I just never saw it. And then the O-line stuff today, like, can't believe the market didn't really react to Trey Smith being ruled out late in the week. Anyways, I don't want to victory lap this much more. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy the downfall of the Chiefs and not seeing them in the playoffs this year. And I will say, listen, this is not as a Chiefs hater, but it's kind of nice to see some new teams as well, and for it to be a little bit more wide open in the AFC.
I would have liked to have seen somebody beat the Chiefs in the playoffs again, though. Like, there's something to that. I am like, to be the man, you have to beat the man kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure, we'll see somebody else. It'll be fine. I mean, we'll enjoy it. It'll be the Chargers, Denver in the West, probably, but whatever.
Yep. We'll go rapid fire on some of these other ones that were blowouts. Ravens beat the Bengals 24-zip. I had the under in this game. I watched
next to none of this game, so I don't have a big opinion.
I watched a lot of it, and there was a point where I think it was 7-0 late in the first half. I'm holding under 51.5. Not even a great number. Again, market steamed. And the Ravens scored a touchdown to make it 14-0. I'm like, here we go. Like, I don't want to have a second half like this again. But I kept talking all week about the Bengals on third downs since Burrow's been back have been like absurdly good. They went 3 of 15 on third downs today. This was like a classic, between the 20s versus high leverage game for Cincinnati. They had 11 drives, 76 offensive plays, felt like they had the ball the entire game. They had multiple possessions that were in Baltimore territory, but they kept coming away with 0 points because of sacks, flags. They had 2 brutal turnovers in the red zone as well. Just like a weird game overall, where I didn't even feel like Baltimore played well, but they won comfortably.
Yeah, and Burrow took responsibility for like anything. He's like in one of the post-game pressers, basically just saying how horrible he was today.
Something is weird with Burrow right now. His pressers this week, there was one midweek where he just kind of talked about how he's not having fun playing football anymore.
Smile.
It's been a little bit weird. It's been a little bit weird there. That was one shutout. Eagles Raiders was another. Man, I watched barely any of Eagles Raiders today.
Same.
Almost.
I mean, I saw some highlights. I saw Pickett was awful. What I saw the Raiders offense was completely awful. I mean, I should really just be betting Raiders team totals under every week. Like, price be damned.
You know what? Like when Geno Smith got ruled out and Pickett was starting, the general thought was like, how can it be worse? It was worse. Like Clive, I don't think I exaggerate a lot. I don't know that I've seen an offensive performance like this in like non-brutal conditions. They finished with
26% success rate.
7 first downs. They had under 2 yards per play. Like that is non-competitive.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed a few things from the Eagles here as well. Very limited, and it was picked up by the commentator of that game. But this is the first time I think Jalen Hurts has carved up a zone defense all year long. Played a lot of zone. Eagles beat that. I also noticed that Hurts is running a lot more earlier on in this game, holding a lot on read options and stuff like that. So something to keep an eye on going forwards. But holy man, that's pathetic. Like the Raiders are a pathetic franchise.
It's poverty, just pure poverty.
Yep. Speaking of poverty, Browns lose 31-3.
I watched a lot of this game.
Yeah, I'll let
or
you
at least
say
3/4 of it.
Your piece here. I mean, Cleveland ran 12 times on early downs, 12 early down rushes, 0 success rate on early down rushes. They were behind the sticks all afternoon, basically forced into obvious passing situations behind a very beat up O-line, and kind of just expected, like you might expect, that to happen.
I mean, I think he threw to Fannin like 14 times. And a couple of deep balls to Bond. But other than that, it was just nothing. But you can't put him in those kind of situations where, you're in 3rd and long all the time. I actually thought this might have been, probably a top 3 game from Caleb Williams too. Like he looked a little bit better in structure.
Yep.
And he didn't, I don't know the best way, like he didn't look panicked.
Yeah.
Big time throw in the end zone to
DJ Moore.
Which I questioned the throw, but tightest of windows.
That one, I got to be honest, that was a good result. Great throw, but he should have never thrown that ball.
No, I agree. When he threw it, I'm like, oh, I think that's picked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
What stands out to me is his ADOT was 10.3 today, and he still came out with positive EPA, positive CPOE. Like that's a good sign for him. The downfield passing game is getting more structured. It's not just like scramble drills every single play, but wire to wire blowout here. Houston, Arizona. I watched a lot of this one as well. I bet Texans -9.5. I was never really comfortable, even though they won 40-20. I thought, first of all, Trey McBride, guy is like an animal. He had a drive in this game, which was absurd. Jacoby Brissett behind that O-line, very beat up O-line against the Texans D front, did better than I would have hoped. But ultimately, Houston's successful plays were just like more explosive, while Arizona was hitting a lot of singles and doubles today. Let's put it that way. And the explosive plays for Houston were all like yards after catch as well. It was lots of yak for Stroud. But weird game because I see the final 40-20. I was sweating that for a lot of the game.
Yeah, what I was worried about, like when I was thinking about whether I wanted to play a total on this one or not, was getting into a really bad negative game state and then it kind of turning into a game like this, which it did. And I think the market did move a little bit towards the under today, but this is kind of I saw this kind of a path to this game today.
So did I. It's tough for me, even with like a good defense like Houston, when you get to these indoor games, it just opens things up a lot more for both offenses if the quarterbacks are competent. Just weird game. Jags Jets, very similar. This one, like again,
got this one right.
Yeah, I laid it with the Jags this week. I was told that it's a big look ahead spot for Jacksonville. I don't really care about this. Like their offense has turned a corner. This was a passing game clinic from the Jags. Their rush game on handoffs was actually bad, like negative efficiency. All the damage came from Trevor Lawrence, the quick game, screens, downfield passing. Like this was a destruction. And I have changed I've definitely come around on Jacksonville's defense. Still leaves a lot to be desired, but this offense in structure is really good since they traded for Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, and I mean, Jacksonville, who do they have left? They're at Denver, at Indy, home to Tennessee.
Yeah.
They had some tough games early on in the schedule, and they've played well offensively here and there, but they've been consistent now, and they're beating up the teams that they're supposed to beat up, which is kind of good to see.
Yeah, listen, it's only the Jets, but to your point, you got to win them, and they did it rather comfortably.
Handily.
Yeah, they did it rather comfortably. I don't know if you heard this week, Clive, but on the Thursday Best Bets show, we had a first in the history of Forward Progress.
The triple hammer?
Somehow, we didn't talk about this beforehand. It was not pre-planned. Myself, Suuma, Austin, all really like the over in Giants Commanders. I was very rooted in that game.
We spoke about it on Sunday last week.
We did. We took it in the early market as well. Did not get good CLV. Granted, this was the worst weather game of the day today because not only was it cold, it was also windy. You saw that on some field goals. Younghoe Koo missed a couple field goals in this game. I think there was an extra point missed as well. I don't know how to feel about this. There was a special teams touchdown, which was massive in the game anytime you bet the over. But it always felt live. Like I never panicked at any point. There was even a point in the game, late in the game, it was 29-14. Giants had 4th and goal, didn't get it. You know, that could have been troublesome, but they figured it out. They got it on the next drive. I mean, these defenses are just terrible.
Yeah, they just give up a lot of explosives, which is part of why I liked it so early, even on Sunday. And then, like, listen, we got like 5 to 6 inches of snow, probably something like that, which was unexpected. And the weather fucking sucks in Jersey right now. But I mean, I didn't think that would have been enough to really curtail either of these two bad defenses. I thought both teams would be able to move it enough to get scores.
Yep. Listen, at the end of the day, it wins. I love to win when the market opposes me. It's very satisfying. Happy with that. Final game we'll touch on, which we skipped over, was from the late window. 49ers beat the Titans 37-24. I laugh a little bit. This is another game where G-Stack George hit this perfectly with the over. We talked about the over on Sunday Reset last week. We got this. There was just like San Fran's offense was very pass driven. They had whatever they wanted. Tennessee's running game was like legitimately efficient in this game.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. I mean, they still didn't cover a spread, as you know, close 12.5. Yeah. But which is funny, actually, when you consider how efficient their offense was relative to what we've seen in the past. Like, look at Tennessee's numbers today offensively. You don't see 49% success rate, 6.2 yards per play from this team ever, really.
And a 68% success rate on runs.
Yeah, exactly.
And early down runs, 61%. Like, they were good. I watched a little bit of this game. It was just because I had the over, too. This was one of my bets this week.
Niners got like a backdoor cover for the favorite, basically, in this game. Yeah. Unusual. S. Elliott says got 13.5 last week from the show. It mattered. Sometimes it does matter. That's why it's important to get good numbers. But yeah, it's kind of a weird one. And I didn't see a lot of the game because there were so many other good games going on at the same time. But I do want to watch back Tennessee because
you want to see if Ward showed you a little something?
I want to see it. I want to see if he showed me a little something, Clive. I do want to see if he showed me a little something. All right. We're going to move into next week's games in just a second here. But as always, we are powered by Fanduel right here on Forward Progress. And the best way to game day is on Fanduel. The Fanduel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who will win. With Fanduel, any play can be the play of the game. And when the Dolphins take on the Steelers on Monday Night Football, FanDuel has given all customers a 30% live profit boost token. 30% live profit boost. Dolphins and Steelers. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit fanduel.com/forward-progress. That is fanduel.com/forward-progress. Enhance your Monday night with a 30% live profit boost token. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Please play responsibly. You must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connectsontario.ca. And this is a paid endorsement. All right, let's get into it, Clive. Before we do, not going to forget to recap this week. I made a note of it. For myself, where I was solo last week, Atlanta wins. We got a terrible price. I just added more on Thursday. Couldn't get anywhere near there, even with the injury attrition that went against us. New Orleans, pick'em, wins outright. Rams over, never in doubt. So for solo plays for me on the year, 12-7, 4.15 units. For us, in agreement on New England, in hindsight, I don't mind the play, but we kind of knew Buffalo was going to get bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad market timing. I'm fine if you make the New England bet today, but that was a mistake last week.
Yeah, I would agree. But we were in it together. Washington and the Giants over. We just talked about that. We won. Tennessee, San Fran over, that one comfortably. When we agree this year, 27-14, plus 11.5 units. Pretty solid season so far. Let's get it started. Week
full slate.
16. Full slate. We'll go through them all. And Thursday Night Football is a very, very interesting game in the NFC West, with the Seahawks hosting the Rams. Now, current market, as it stands at FanDuel, is Rams -1.5. Most books that have posted so far are Rams -1. Totals all over the place. If you like the under, FanDuel's your spot here, 45.5. Of note, obviously, the Rams. Devontae Adams, I'd say doubtful, probably out. Puka Nacua, I don't know what the injury actually was. He gets up slowly every game, so it's hard to say, but you want to monitor that this week as well. Right tackle Abraham Lucas for Seattle left today, but he came back into the game today.
I'm seeing prices on totals all over the board. Am I seeing them and they've been pulled off?
They're all over the place right now.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why is one sharp offshore book has not posted a line on this game as of yet, and I think that's because of the status of maybe Adams or Nacua, so they don't have that one up yet. I got to tell you, I debuted, someone got real excited in the chat last week when I debuted the weather risk model on the scale of 0 to 3. 0 being no impact, 3 being bad. I got Seattle on Thursday night as a 2 right now. It is going to very likely piss rain during this game and is very likely going to be really windy. And that 45.5 at FanDuel, I think, is going to disappear. I think anything above 44 might disappear. Again, this is just news related. It's nothing to do with the matchup. I get how good the Rams offense is and can be, but I think these numbers are going to go quickly, Clive.
Yeah, I think this is a little high regardless, unfortunately. I do agree with you. I think this is going to go. This is going to move.
Yeah. I remember, obviously the first matchup between these two teams was the worst the Rams offense has looked in a long time at 21-19. I saw someone in the chat say Puka was cramping. Okay, cramping. Sorry, I didn't see that today. Had a lot going on with the Cowboys playing. So that's going to be, in all likelihood, totally fine. Someone in the chat says, how are the Rams not going to take money in this game? I don't know. I think this is I think this is fine. Yeah. I think this is fine.
Seattle at home. I mean, these are two. I mean, from a market standpoint, these have been the top two teams for a little while now, I think. I mean, KC is now going to fall down the board significantly. Maybe Buffalo gets a bump up a little bit, but they're still the two best teams. This is probably why some people were betting NFC to win the Super Bowl already.
Yeah, good point. Rudy says Rams D gives up points to good offenses, though. They can get moved on. I think the Rams D is very good. Pretty solid. Sure, there are times where listen, Detroit hit explosives today. They didn't really move it on a down-to-down basis, but they hit explosives. Once you start getting into I don't want to call this torrential downpour, but think of, what was the Tampa? Was it Bucks Saints last week that rained a ton?
Yeah.
Think of that type of game and what the field looks like outdoors with
slippery, tougher to throw,
with wind. I think over 44 right now is worth taking a shot towards them.
I think Seattle's going to have a similar game plan where they're going to try and they're going to want to run the ball, especially with that weather. And I think the under, if there are some good priced 45.5 is a good look right now still.
All right. We are in agreement there for Thursday. I do think it's going to move that way is all I'm saying. And then if you want to, that
was the best price in market. 44.5. I don't think I'd be touching right now.
Yeah. 2 games on Saturday next week. We'll cover Green Bay, Chicago first. I think they flipped these games, and this is going to end up being the night one, or the 8:20 start. Early number at Fanduel, Packers -2.5, -05. Total in the game, 46.5, juice towards the under. Most of the market is painted 1.5 in this game right now. Tons of injury stuff to go through from today. The obvious one is Micah Parsons left the game, injured for the Green Bay Packers. Also on defense, Evan Williams, starting safety, left the game for them as well. Offensively, Christian Watson, shoulder. I don't think Christian Watson is playing next week. Could be a clavicle fracture. I don't know. No update from the team yet. The right tackle, Zach Tom, one of the better right tackles in football, hurt his knee today and left as well. For Green Bay, for Chicago, Rome Odunze re-aggravated his foot injury in pregame warmup today and missed the game. And then Luther Burden got hurt today as well at receiver. So could be pretty thin for Chicago at receiver, Clive. If Odunze and Burden can't play, it's DJ Moore, Olamide Zaccheaus, I think Devin Duvernay. You probably see a lot of 2 tight end stuff as well for the Bears next week. Any early thoughts on this one?
I mean, clearly I'm off on both of these two teams, and I'm fine admitting that.
In which direction?
I was over-indexed on Green Bay, but with Parsons, I mean, that obviously changes that regardless. And I think I was under-indexed on the Bears offensively.
Mm-hmm.
That all said, this total still seems a touch high for me on an outdoor game with these injury situations.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm the only one that sees that.
Yeah. Packers Bears is risk 1 for me. Cold and breeze, maybe flurries. Nothing too extreme. So right now, the advanced line in this game was 3. So we've come off the 3, obviously, because Parsons matters. Yeah. Green Bay lost. Bears won. I know that the quote unquote, I'll call them the spot bettors, will like Green Bay in this game. It's gonna be a good spot for Green Bay. Everyone just watch them lose, bounce back. I kind of want Chicago in this game. I don't know that I want to bet this price without knowing about Odunze and or Burden. I would love one of them to play this game, but I think Green Bay is pretty beat up. We saw these teams play a couple weeks back in what, in my opinion, was essentially close to a coin flip game. I know the Packers end up covering a touchdown, but probably didn't deserve to cover the spread in that game. So to me, this is Bears or nothing at this price, although I could see some interest in somebody having some interest in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Bears, but I don't think this goes back out to 3. I think this is probably the best price you're going to see on the Bears. I think.
You're right. It's kind of hard. I'm just looking at the money line prices across market right now. Plus 115 is out there. FanDuel's at plus 112. Yeah. I know when I run this game, I'm going to be closer to pick 'em. And like those are impactful injuries for Green Bay across the board. Yeah, Bears are nothing in the early going for me. Saturday as well, the earlier game is the Eagles at the Commanders. Current market at FanDuel, Eagles minus 5.5, minus 115. Total in the game is 44.5. Of note, it seems like FanDuel's one of the only 5.5s out there right now, and most of the market is 6 in this game. Lane Johnson has a chance to return. They did say he's going to practice this week. Now, this is a Saturday game. So, one less day of rest, but there's a chance that he's back at right tackle for the Eagles. I don't think Jalen Carter is anywhere close right now with both shoulder injuries. For Washington, we don't know on Jaden Daniels versus Marcus Mariota, but Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle for Washington, left today's game with an oblique injury. He tried to come back in and gut it out, and then he left again. If he's out, I don't think Jaden Daniels is coming back in to play this game. They also lost Noah Brown at receiver. Not a huge loss, but a loss. Eddie Goldman on the defensive line left with a concussion, just like another blow to a defensive line that's been beat up. This is a tough game for me because I kind of want the Eagles if Tunsil is out, Washington's going to struggle, but it's a pretty expensive price on Philly as well.
Yeah. Oh God. I might like a Philly team total over this week, but maybe that's just me overreacting to one good week of Eagles offense. Lane Johnson playing would obviously help a ton with that. I think the number's fine at 5.5 with what we know now. And like, there's a part of me that wants to bet the under because I don't think the Commanders are going to do much from an offensive standpoint, but because the Commanders defense is as bad as it is, I could see the Eagles putting up 30 and then the Commanders don't really have to do much on their end.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm just not ready to trust the Eagles yet. They should have their way with this defense, but they still can't run the ball. And I'm like really concerned about that away from home. Like at some point they got to be able to get that going, but I could see this being an ugly game that the Eagles end up covering. I would say, Grinnef Wynn says, is this more likely to move to 7? I don't think this can necessarily close. I mean, if Laramie Tunsil is out, the Eagles will take money. And it seems like oblique for left tackle. I don't know, man.
That seems important.
Seems not good for them. Eagles are nothing for me at current price. But I'm not going to rush and bet it here. And listen, you don't have to take minus 5.5 because it's out there. Minus 5.5, minus 115 is actually worse than some of the -6, minus 105 that's out there right now. So just be cognizant of that. You're also paying vig on whatever number you take. All right, let's go to the Sunday window here, Clive, and we will take a look at the Bills traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. FanDuel sitting at Bills minus 10.5 plus 100. Total in the game, 43.5, juice towards the under. Again, FanDuel slightly off on the side. Most of the market is 10 right now for this game. Of note, I mean, the Cleveland offensive line is a mess. They lost a backup player, Tevin Jenkins, today as well. For Buffalo, I don't think Christian Benford will be back at corner. That's just a gut feeling. But he had a non-contact toe injury, couldn't practice on Friday. He's been in a walking boot this week. Defensive tackle Jordan Phillips left for them today as well. Man, I'll tell you the first thing, I don't want to lay this number with Buffalo is my first thought.
Bills are going to try and run the ball, try and run the ball. that's what's going to happen.
This feels like it could have the vibes of Bills Steelers from a couple weeks ago, where the Bills defense, they're, as much as I don't like the Bills defense, they're not going to get super tested by the Browns offense, especially with multiple offensive linemen injured. So it just becomes a game where the Bills do their thing on the ground. They don't drop Allen back a whole lot. The weather model has this as like a 1.5. There is some potential precipitation there. It's going to be super cold. What do you think about this under?
I just like the total, the game under.
Yeah. I'm with you.
There's
43, yeah.
43s and a half's a little bit better. But yeah, I think 43 and a half is a play today.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think it just feels a little bit too high to me. Listen, I look at the Browns offensive line from this week. They put their center on IR. He can't play. Wyatt Teller, their right guard, he has a strained calf. He didn't practice yet this week. He's been out for 2 weeks now. Jack Conklin has a pretty bad concussion at right tackle. Hasn't been practicing. Has missed a couple weeks as well. Like, it's no guarantee they're getting anyone back. I'm a little bit concerned on the back end. Denzel Ward didn't practice this week as well at all for the Browns, and their defense is getting a little bit worse. But I just, game script wise,
yeah,
it just feels, it really has the makings of both teams try to run the ball a lot.
Stubborn as fuck. Yeah, bleed clock, and if there ends up being any weather at all, there's upside to that too.
Agreed. All right, we agree on that. Buffalo, Cleveland under. Depending on how the report goes for Cleveland later in the week, I could see myself, maybe swallowing that pill. Don't know for sure though. Ugly one here that doesn't really have any playoff implications, but the Jets go out on the road to take on the Saints. Unusual to see a minus. Yeah. 4.5 at Fanduel here. 40.5 is the total. Most of the market is painted 4 and 40.5. I think a lot of people will look at this and are going to immediately have some interest in the Jets at this type of price. I hope the Jets get bet down. I almost wouldn't mind betting the Saints at a cheap price in this game because they actually have a functional offense,
yeah,
quarterback especially.
Yeah.
The Jets secondary, I mean, Tony Adams got hurt again today, groin injury. He's probably going to be out next week. Another cornerback, Isaiah Oliver, left with a knee injury. They have no one left in the secondary. New Orleans, I guess Devin Neal, the running back, left, hamstring injury. That might be multi-week. He got ruled out pretty quickly. Devon Vele, shoulder injury, left late in the game for New Orleans. That's a blow. Right guard Cesar Ruiz, ankle injury. So yeah, some injuries on the O-line for New Orleans as well, although Ruiz hasn't been good this year. I don't know.
This feels like an under to me too, even though this just feels like an under to me. Like this actually feels a little too high.
The Jets defense has gone way downhill in recent weeks. That's my biggest hesitation. But you know what? Saints aren't putting up numbers on anyone, really.
Like, I don't think this is a game script that gets out of hand to the point where it even tries to be a shootout. And even if it does, I mean, it seems like the Jets' hope for scoring in most cases seems special teams related.
Yeah. I see
this isn't something I would bet today, but this is that was an initial intuition.
The chat is laughing at me because I seemingly do like the Saints every week. But I mean, do people watch, like, Tyler Shuck? He plays quarterback fairly well relative to the rest of the league. Like, look at Brady Cook that they're throwing out there. Brady Cook had some good drives to start this game for the Jets, and then it all went to shit right after that. All went to shit. I don't know what to do here, but
I was just hoping we'd get a better number on the Saints, to be honest.
That's kind of what I'm waiting for. This is another spot game. Spot game. Jets just got blown out. They're embarrassed. They're playing for pride. The Saints, huge emotional win against a divisional opponent, let down next week. They might not even prepare this week. They might just be sipping champagne or something like that.
They're ready. They're ready right now.
Yeah. For those that don't understand the sarcasm, I'm not. I think I've tried really hard. I value as many situational and schedule spots as I possibly can in the NFL. It's very important to do that. I think people talk themselves into stuff that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, they act like it can't. Most of these things can't be quantified. Like as if enough of these situations haven't happened over time. Like somebody has a magic formula in their head.
Yeah. It's but the league evolves, right?
Right.
You know, it's very different. Like look at old travel situations, right? Remember West Coast teams playing on the East Coast for like an early start and how bad they fared over the years because they didn't know how to travel properly. Now they figured that out. It's not a thing anymore. Anyways,
we adjust.
I digress. Yeah. We're going to skip right over Vikings and Giants as we don't have an official market there yet. Of note for anyone who's listening to these after the fact, there were some injuries for the Vikings against Dallas. The right tackle, Brian O'Neill, got hurt. Equally important, Jonathan Greenard on the defensive line left in the fourth quarter as well, which could be potentially a multi-week injury. So keep an eye on that. The Giants, they came out pretty clean from today. The one to monitor for them will be Kayvon Thibodeau, but he hasn't practiced in 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. So that's kind of an ugly one.
News. J.J. McCarthy looked like a functional quarterback. 2 weeks in a row. And
you know what? I've seen the Giants defense play. Could easily be 3 weeks in a row. Easily. All right. I'm going rotation number order here. So I realize that this, I think, has been flexed to Sunday Night Football, but we're gonna do it anyways, which is Patriots going out on the road to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. So this will be our Sunday Night Football game. Ravens are pushing out towards -3 at FanDuel, -2.5, -120, 47.5 is the total in this game at FanDuel, juice towards the under. If you do want to bet an early over in this game, FanDuel would be the spot. Looks like the over here is the best price in market. Okay.
So I watched more of the Patriots than I did I saw very little of the Ravens game today. Very, very little. Mostly just highlights. How did Lamar Jackson look?
It was a weird game. I have some vivid memories of him looking good. I think he hit Zay Flowers in the end zone, which should have been a touchdown, and it was a drop. He also way overthrew Mark Andrews on one play that hit the Cincinnati safety directly in the chest, and he couldn't catch it. I thought Zay Flowers looked great, was getting open, but aside from that, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch more of it tomorrow. Typically speaking, when I have an under on, I'm not super focused on the game because it's causing me a lot of pain to root for that.
Fair enough.
I will say this. Injuries in the secondary for both of these teams. Patriots cornerback Carlton Davis, groin injury, left today. Baltimore's corners, Chidobe Awuzie, he left with a foot injury. The team already said he's having an MRI tomorrow. Usually not good. Marlon Humphrey left with a knee injury. They lost a linebacker as well, Teddy Buchanan. That was a knee injury. It looked bad. So Baltimore's defense got pretty beat up in this game. I'm going to like the Patriots in this game. It's just, do I want to buy? Like, you know what? This plus 132 at FanDuel, I think is an auto click right now.
I mean, this feels like peak Ravens or floor Ravens price and peak Patriots price. Minus, I think there was a slight adjustment in the market for the Pats after they lost to the Bills, even though I don't know that there should have been for that. That's why I was kind of asking a little bit about the Ravens. I don't think I can make an intelligent judgment here.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm looking at Patriots Bills, right? If you were to just feed this game into like AI or a supercomputer or whatever, it's probably not going to adjust either of these teams up or down. I mean, the Patriots had a 54% success rate today, 7.5 yards per play on offense, hit some big explosives in the running game. It's not like they played poorly. It's just that they played a poor second half.
This total intuitively felt low to me. I don't know if you agree with that too, or if this is just kind of a Pats or nothing for you. But until I watched back the Ravens game and I watched how their offense and defense looked, I can't say anything yet.
Weather model currently has this as a 0.5. Cold, cloudy, but not too cold. Precipitation looks low. Yeah, listen, I think plus 132 Patriots money line. I'm ultimately, when I run my numbers, I'll be shocked if I don't have value on that as the price. I think with the way that the market is shaded right now, there's no rush in betting Patriots. Like, you don't need to capture 2.5 on the spread, right? There's so much more upside if this gets to 3.
So that's what the other thing I was going to say. I think the way that the market has loved Baltimore is, I think betting the Pats now might not be the time to bet them.
Yeah. Well, money line's starting to move there. Hopefully it ends up being a good number.
Yeah.
Hopefully it ends up being a good one. I mean, that'll be an interesting Sunday night football game. I'll tell you that. Glad to see that one in prime time. All right. Tampa Bay, Carolina is our next stop in the NFC South. These teams play each other 2 out of the final 3 games of the season. So their lives are in their own hands. And Tampa Bay coming into this one on extra rest, having played on Thursday. Tampa Bay minus 2.5, minus 115. Total in the game, 45.5, juice towards the under. Just comparing across market right now. If you like Carolina, this is a decent price on them, but pretty consistent across market in this 2.5 range, Clive. From an injury perspective, Tampa Bay, they were missing K. Doughton last week. He will probably be back. They were missing their safety, Tyke Smith. He practiced limited on the final practice day. Might be back. They lost Zion McCollum at corner. Carolina got through this game without any new significant injuries. Another game where the Bucs can work Mike Evans into the offense as well.
What did the Thursday game close at for a total? 44? I
For
thought it opened 44.5, closed 44.
Atlanta, Tampa,
Yeah.
it did get bet down. I was surprised by that, to be honest. Yeah, closed in that range. You know what? I'm going to tell you, Clive, I don't have a good. I think these numbers are fine. This is just my perspective on this game.
Yeah, I don't have, like, nothing is intuitively jumping out to me.
I think if, like, once Carolina hits 3, if that happens, I definitely have to have a conversation with myself about that. I don't think the Bucs are good enough. Yeah, I'm just not high on either team is what it comes down to. But the Bucs have a little bit more upside with Evans back and Bucky Irving back and Godwin. Like the offense is at full health right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, nothing's jumping out at me on this one.
Okay. KC, Tennessee.
I don't know. 37.
Chiefs
Okay.
minus 3.5 at Tennessee. Total is 37.5 in this game. For context, not that the look ahead markets are like highly liquid or anything like that, but the look ahead in this game was Kansas City minus 11.5. All right. So we're going from Patrick Mahomes to Gardner Minshew. We have a very bad O-line situation today for the Chiefs. Wanya Morris, he's not playing. Trey Smith went from full practice to limited to DNP. I'm very concerned there. Jawan Taylor is dealing with a knee injury and a triceps injury. He did not practice 3 straight days. Jalen Moore left on the offensive line today as well. He's a backup for them. Josh Simmons is on IR. You're potentially looking at 5 of your best 6 or 7 O-linemen out for Kansas City. Trent McDuffie will very likely be back, although they could just shut him down at this point as well, and it wouldn't be surprising.
Well, why? Yeah, I mean, why would you play anybody at this point, like, that's even remotely hurt?
I agree. At this point, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, technically, listen, players are playing for pride. Coaching staff's playing for pride. I get that.
But if you're injured, right, there's no upside at all, especially if you're a star player. Like, really, like, why would you risk anything more of getting hurt worse?
Yeah. I'm actually just looking at the Tennessee side of things as well, and they got pretty beat up today too. Both starting safeties left today, Xavier Woods and Kevin Winston, both with hamstring injuries. They already have a very bad secondary. Cedric Gray, who I think is a very underrated linebacker that nobody knows about because he plays in Tennessee, left with a concussion. Kevin Zeitler left on the offensive line at guard with a groin injury. Van Jefferson left at receiver with a back injury. I'm not going to pretend like I can price this in real time.
No, I can't either. If this is a normal Kansas City offensive line and they have any semblance of a running game at all, I think the 8-point difference is too much for Minshew.
Mm-hmm.
But with the state of their offensive line, this is very, very difficult. This is why I should have jumped on the under earlier today for that KC Chargers game, and I didn't. But this is going to be a really tough spot for Minshew.
Yeah, like I think what people Minshew is a good backup. Don't get me wrong, right? But did anyone watch him when he came in the game today? Like he threw a brutal interception to end that game today. Horrible pick. Like this, it's not Minshew. It's Minshew behind an O-line that can't do anything. Plus, no running game either.
Yeah, this just seems like a very rough spot. I don't know. I can't even tell you which way I think the market's going to go.
Neither do I. I'm when I have this many moving parts, it's very up in the air. I'm going to just trust the model number when I run it. I wish we could go, rewind time. Mahomes doesn't get injured. The number's 11.5 at Tennessee next week, so that I could just keep bombing against the Chiefs. But we're not there.
No,
unfortunately, we're not there. Nothing posted yet for Chargers and Dallas. We're going to skip over that one as well. Notable for the Cowboys tonight, Quinnen Williams got hurt in the fourth quarter. That was a big one for them. Obviously, Parsons and Williams hurt in the same week. Crazy how that happens. I don't think there's they're actually backup left tackle who's filling in for Tyler Guyton. He also was in and out of the game as well, Nate Thomas. And the O-line really struggled without him. So just keep an eye on those two guys. For the Chargers, Quentin Johnston could be back next week. And maybe swing tackle Trey Pipkins, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So anyone tuning in after the fact, that's what you need to go with here. All right, let's keep it moving along here. Games that are more widely available. Atlanta at Arizona is going to be our next stop. Falcons -1.5, -110 at Arizona. 45.5 is the total, juice towards the over. Of note, Atlanta is coming in off extra rest. Of note, that means that Drake London has a chance to return. He didn't practice at all last week. He's been out 4 weeks with a knee injury. There's a chance there. Cornerback Mike Hughes got hurt for them last game. Going through Arizona's injuries might actually take me 10 minutes at this point. Bam Knight ended up getting hurt today. Their O-line is completely decimated. On the back end, another linebacker, Cody Simon, got hurt. Their backup middle linebacker, because the starting middle linebacker, Mac Wilson's on IR. They're just a complete mess of a team. So I think people are going to look at this, Clive, and there's going to be some general interest for people to take the Cardinals. I want nothing to do with the Cardinals in this game.
No, I kind of think I want the over in this game. But there's a lot to parse through in terms of the injury report. Like if Drake London plays, then I love it a lot more.
Well, if Drake London's even practicing on Wednesday, I think Falcons and over will get hit. My biggest concern, I directionally agree that this feels like a game that's going to have a lot of points. The Cardinals' O-line is a mess, and Atlanta's gotten very good at generating pressure up front on defense. That's the biggest concern for me, but and that's why it's tough for me to get there.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a tough spot to bet early anyway. I know we always like to try and give out and find good numbers. This one's tough for me to kind of parse out and price right now.
Yeah.
But I'd look at Atlanta and I would look at the over potentially.
That's directionally what I think I'll like in this game. I'll be very curious.
I like the side more than I like the total as I'm thinking through it in my head.
Well, the problem I have is, like, again, when we do this show live here on late Sunday night, early Monday morning, I have like market rankings from the entire year for each of these teams. And this is like this. There's really not many scenarios over the course of the year where Atlanta would be favored in this game. And if they would, it would be very, very small. And there's the possibility that Drake London still is not back in this game, at which point Arizona is going to take money. So Cottage says Arizona functioned today against the Texans. No, they did. It was a little bit surprising to me. They did.
So, I mean, I think a couple people put Jacoby things in the chat, and that's kind of the thing. If you think this can get to a game state where there's a little bit more prevent defense type situations, like Jacoby Brissett can be functional against that.
Yeah, he can, but like then there's the games like 3 weeks ago at Tampa where they're down 17-3, they lose 20-17. The over is like never even sniffed in the game because Tampa is just getting consistent pressure on Brissett.
True.
All right, I think we've said our piece. Yeah, I agree with you that directionally, I lean towards the over. I can't get over looking at the offensive side of the ball for Arizona and seeing right guard, right tackle on IR. Paris Johnson's not going to be back at left tackle. He's week to week. Their left guard, Evan Brown's dealing with a personal issue. He's away from the team. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. not practicing at all. Greg Dortch, IR. Bam Knight, Semi Fehoko, Zay Jones, Trey Benson, James Conner, like what they were at start the year. It's hard to get over that. Okay. Next, as we move it along here, it's going to be the Jags at the Broncos. Early market here. Broncos -3, -05 at Fanduel. Total in the game is 44.5.
What's your weather report say?
Clean.
How is this not low?
It is low. It is low. Okay, I could either play the Jags or the over here. I think I prefer the over.
Yeah. Done.
Denver's defense is overrated. It's good. It's very solid. Jacksonville can attack in the passing game. They now have multiple receivers that they can attack with, and their defense is not for real. I do not believe that their defense is for real.
And I still don't think the Jacksonville offense has been priced right for the last few weeks either. And I think, to your point, the Denver defense has been priced overly aggressively.
Yeah. Man, I almost like both the Jags and the over in this game. Definitely the over. Definitely the over is the early look here. I can be talked out of the Jags just because defensively they're a disaster. They probably will get their left tackle, Walker Little, back off of concussion. What happened here for the Broncos? They lost safety Brandon Jones today. They lost inside linebacker Justin Sternad with an ankle injury. So that's 2 starters on defense. They might get Ben Powers back at guard off of the IR as well, which would be, I mean, their O-line's been so good. It doesn't really, make a huge difference at this point anyways. But cross market, lots of 45s and stuff like that. I'm with you. All right. Pittsburgh, Detroit. I don't like to play these in advance. Let's take a quick look at the early market here. which is Detroit -7, -04, 50.5. Obviously, Pittsburgh still got to play on Monday Night Football, and they're rather beat up at tackle. TJ Watt is out. James Pierre is out. Detroit today, no new injuries. They have a chance to get Thomas Harper back at safety. They have 2 offensive linemen. Coyote Awoshika is a guard, practiced 3 times this week, missed the last couple weeks. Christian Mahogany as well is ready to come off of IR soon. Isn't it weird seeing Steelers games with a 5 in the total? Like Detroit's like their home games are nuts.
Yeah,
but it feels a little bit unusual.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have interest in Detroit this week.
Okay.
But yes, it is. I mean, I don't have like team total, or I don't have totals by team and what they've done for overs. But I mean, the Steelers feel like they've been priced like an over team now for a little bit because their defense hasn't been particularly Pittsburgh-like. What happens if they get into a negative game state, which I could see happening?
Well, that's the obviously we know what Detroit can do offensively. They can create explosives for sure. But Pittsburgh is such a limp dick offense sometimes. 5 in front of the total. We'll wait and see what this reopens at after the Steelers play on Monday Night Football. But
and I have a tough time. I mean, the Lions team total is going to be around 29. That's a lot.
It's an ugly cold weather game in Pittsburgh Monday night as well, where I could see the scoring being suppressed in that game. And maybe this total reopens a little bit lower, which would be unfortunate. But anyways, I don't like playing these too early in advance unless there's significant upside with one side over another. And I don't know that there necessarily is here. Wow. Las Vegas at Houston up next. At Fanduel, Houston is -14.5, -04. Total is 37.5. You don't see that often, Clive.
I said this last week. Like when it was Raiders Eagles, I was like, wow, that's a low total for such a big spread. This one's even worse. This is a lower total and a bigger spread.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything to do here right away. At some point, the Raiders are going to get their left tackle, Colton Miller, back. They activated his practice window last week. He got 3 limited practices in. The right guard, Jordan Meredith, was out today with a foot injury. They ended up losing Tyler Lockett, which honestly I wouldn't even mention, but the receiving core is bad. We don't know if Geno Smith is going to play in this game or if it's going to be Pickett again.
Who cares?
I don't know that any of it matters. God.
This is a really tough spot for the Raiders. This is even worse, I think, than the Eagles.
Yeah. Durso says we know Hitman will be on the Raiders again. If you see that Monday morning, play coming, look out. Yeah, I don't have anything here. Feels like a big price with the Titans. The Texans. It's a large price.
It is. It really is. I mean, their offense is just as functional as the Eagles is, though. I mean, like, what can the Raiders stop? What was the success rate today for Philly? If you have it in front of you.
Yeah, I 57%. Also the Raiders have been healthy scratching some players who aren't injured in the secondary for the last couple weeks. Something I've noticed with their inactives list every week, where I'm like, this guy wasn't on the injury report. They just choose to bench cornerbacks. They could actively be tanking the Raiders.
Yeah. I mean,
I never really say that either. I'm not like the narrative tanking guy, but I've noticed some very suspect inactives for the Raiders in the past couple weeks. Today was greedy.
Look at this game and I'm just going to be interested in this game because the dynamic between the spread and the total and just these two teams is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I have nothing right now, though.
Okay. Cincinnati at Miami. Again, Miami has to play on Monday Night Football. They're favored at home to Cincinnati, -1.5. Total in the game is 50.5. Of note for Cincinnati, the right tackle, Amarius Mims, left today's game with a knee injury. That's one to monitor. T. Higgins, concussed. We don't know if he'll play next week. Samaje Perine left the game today, but he did end up returning later on as well. It kind of feels a little bit weird every time I see a minus in front of Miami's name relative to where they were at the beginning of the year. But they've been playing good football lately. And I don't know, man. Bengals look so dead right now.
They do. I might like a Dolphins money line, like if there's a cheap money line like this. I mean, the Bengals defense really, really got awful.
It's terrible. They're playing above their personnel right now, for sure. I can say that. I don't know. I'm not betting this game beforehand. Let's wait and see what Miami looks like tomorrow night, and then we can go from there. We're closing out with Monday Night Football, which is the 49ers at the Colts. If anyone has seen anything in the chat, I doubt we would have. I'm going to assume Phillip Rivers is going to start at quarterback again next week, as it stands right now. The 49ers are 5.5-point favorites. Total in the game is 46.5, juiced towards the under here at Fanduel. The way that Seattle played defense today is kind of like the way that San Fran plays defense. Robert Saleh, they've had so many injuries on the defensive line and in the linebacking core, and none of those guys practiced this week. Jordan Elliott, another defensive tackle, got hurt pregame today and didn't play. They play a lot of too high coverage. They give up stuff underneath. They let you try to run the ball on them. And they don't deviate from that a lot. This is where I'm stuck, because I don't think the Colts are any good. They lost their left tackle today too, Bernard Raymond, left with an elbow injury. Would be a huge loss because their right tackle's on IR. I just don't know what to do here, Clive.
I can almost guarantee you I take a San Francisco team total over this week.
Yeah.
Almost guarantee it. And I'll probably have interest in the side too.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't
like, it's one of those things where you know what Rivers can't do. Like, you literally know what he can't do.
The 49ers defense sucks is the real problem. And it's hard for me to get past that. Again, Tennessee doesn't put up, upper 40 success rate against anyone. I don't know what to do here. I feel like I don't want Rivers to start games anymore, selfishly, because I don't know how to price them.
That's reasonable.
That's
completely fair. What I don't think is going to happen is I don't know that San Francisco is going to force the run against a defense where they can absolutely pass the ball and get explosives. Yeah. That's where I think there's going to be a difference between San Francisco and Seattle, which is nice.
Yeah, and I don't think Sauce Gardner is close to returning for the Indy either. So with him out, Travarius Ward out, Chris Lamon's out, that's tough. Shanahan is the type of guy that will take advantage of that type of stuff too. Yeah, I don't know. Rudy, I'm going to tell you this right now. We watched more Rivers today. Saleh has a week to take away the 10 to 15 yard pass range. Sometimes defenses are very static. There are certain coordinators where the defense is very static. Mm-hmm. Think back to a guy like Gus Bradley, who played a ton of cover 3, no matter who the opponent was. You think of a guy like, Brian Flores. They're going to be different blitz looks and stuff like that, but it's going to be a lot of cover 0. Some of these defensive guys, they install scheme and they just roll with it.
Size fits all.
And honestly, they might look at this tape from Seattle today and be like, Colts didn't get anything going on offense, because they didn't. Like, I think we're talking about Rivers relative to what the expectation was, not what the reality of the offense was. Like Phillip Rivers today was 18 of 27 pass attempts for 120 yards, a touchdown and an interception. They just basically let him have the underneath stuff, and they tackled well, which they do, the Seahawks as a team. That might just be the way teams want to play it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's completely fair too. There was a video on TikTok that basically just compiled every single one of Rivers' throws, and it's exactly what you would expect to see.
Yeah. Tough.
Someone's asking in the chat, can we get a quick thought on Chargers Cowboys? I think Fanduel now has a line.
Yeah, we'll toss that up. Cowboys and Chargers for next week. Early line is now Cowboys -1.5, -0.2, and 49.5 is the total in this game. So yeah, Chargers O-line quite beat up, as I mentioned earlier. Safety position is an issue for them as well. RJ Mickens got hurt today, so both starting safeties are hurt for them. I mean, the Cowboys seem to suffer some pretty significant injuries today. I kind of like the Chargers in this game a little bit.
And Dershow said in the chat, wrong team favored. I kind of agree with the situations.
I hate to say this as a Cowboys fan. Again, the Cowboys are going to be a spot play. They just lost in prime time. Everybody watched it. The Chargers coming off a big win as an underdog. Spot says Cowboys. I don't know that I can do that. Not with the injuries today. Yeah, I'm Chargers or nothing at the. It's not widely available, but Chargers or nothing. Minnesota and the Giants is the other game that we glossed over, Clive. Minnesota is now reopened -2.5 on the road with a total of 44.5 in this game. Minnesota's looking better. The Giants are, like this. It's a tough game. Numbers wise, this is the highest Minnesota's been priced in a very long time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
Weather on this one? Anything?
Let's take a quick look. Risk 1. Not too bad. You think it under?
No. I'm thinking the Giants might get bet, and then I'm going to like the Vikings.
See, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this might end up going to 3, and then I wake up tomorrow, Monday,
and you have to bet the Giants.
And I'm like, am I going to click that? The Giants stink, man.
Did you have anything on the spread in that game? Because I kind of was really surprised that went to 3 in some spots for a little bit.
So I didn't play. So my nut fair on that game was Giants -2.5. So when it did go to 3, I did think about that, but I already had so much on the over in that game. And I was looking at my balance sheet for today, and I had a lot of money in play. I'm like, man, betting against the game day move. I don't really have any conviction on this game. I ended up not doing it. But yeah.
I don't think the Vikings are going to have a ton of problems moving the ball against the Giants.
Second Mountain says this was over 42.5 before Sunday Night Football. So we've moved up through 44.
That's big. That's a big move.
I don't have an immediate thought or bet on the game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Don't want to bet it immediately. There was some stuff that jumped off the page today, and I think we did our best to cover that. Probably not as high volume as last week, but certainly some early looks that are worthwhile. And then there's just a lot of injury stuff to go through this week in a lot of these games as well. So, put it all together, get a few plays. Hopefully they win. That's it, Clive.
Yeah.
All right.
Another good run through.
Another good run through. As a reminder, we're chasing 10K subs here on Forward Progress. Hit subscribe if you're not subbed already. Of course, smash that like button on the way out the door. If you enjoyed it live today and you're in the chat, over 2,000 who've watched across all platforms, smash that like button, but leave a 1 in the chat as well. And like Clive said, tell a friend. It's important. Helps us grow. I know it's late in the year, but we've had a friggin' great year at Forward Progress here this year across the board. So share it up whenever you can. That's going to do it for us here on the Sunday Reset. For myself, Rob Pizzola, for Clive Bixby, for our sponsors at Fanduel, and of course, our producer behind the scenes, Pascal Prince, Caustic Arrow, keeping things running smoothly. This has been the Sunday Reset here on Forward Progress. Peace out, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.